Hey guys, Aaron here from Metro-East Libertarians. I'm here with a man who should need no introduction, Mr. Ben Swann of Liberty is Rising, a new venture that you've taken on since you've left the formal media. Ben, today you spoke a little bit about how the media is not necessarily serving the people of the United States in their function that they should be doing. They should be bringing information to the public in a more discoverable sort of way. Instead, now what we really have is this false left-right paradigm and people basically falling in line to a particular agenda. What do you see the solution to this? Do you think the internet media is going to overcome that?
Well, I think the internet media is the alternative media, and it's what changes everything, right? So at the end of the day, it really comes down to the ability for people to gather information outside of traditional sources, meaning traditional, whether it's radio or broadcast television or even cable news. Look, what the internet is proven in the last few months, we were talking about Syria tonight, is that in 2001 and 2003, the American public did not have good information on Afghanistan. We did not have good information on the Iraq War. Even as recently as 2010, 2011, we had very bad information about Libya and what was happening. But the general consensus of the American public was to believe what they were told. But if you watch the trend right now of what's happening with Syria, the public at large does not believe media. They don't believe the politicians, and they don't believe, the network talking heads. And that's a very good sign. It shows that people are becoming more informed. It shows that alternative media has a much larger voice. I wrote an article on our website, benswann.com. It's called, "Is the Alternative Media Preventing a War with Syria?" I think in many ways alternative media is preventing that war because they're getting good information out. Look, in 2011, when the U.S. was intervening in Libya, it was al-Qaeda fighters there too. That's no different than what's happening in Syria. But nobody knew that. I mean, the general public, I should say, didn't know it. It wasn't made clear to them. And today, we know so much more about al-Qaeda in Syria, but it's not because of CNN or Fox or MSNBC. It's because of the internet and alternative media. So I think we're watching kind of the rise of that. I think it's a great opportunity for the American public. Like we say, liberty's rising. I think it is.
I will say that I've seen a lot of the links posted on Facebook from benswann.com talking about those issues, so I can't agree more. You talked about bringing the issues at the local level, not necessarily concentrating on the Congress and the national and international issues at this time. That's something that's near and dear to our hearts in the Metro East. We've been promoting that type of philosophy to sort of hawk the local meetings, make sure what they're doing. We've done a lot of information about TIF abuses, government handouts, those types of things is what we're facing. Yep. What do you see the vision for that, the project that you have going on, and the local groups that you'd like to see happening?
Well, what we really want to see is we want to see liberty rise on a local level, because as we were talking about, that's where real change happens. I mean, even if you were to change the White House, even if you were to change Congress, you'd still have this incredible encroachment into people's lives through government on the local level. You would also have, unfair taxes. You'd have policing for profit. You would have school districts that are not responsive to parents, that are, so you have all those problems that would still be there. Changing out the White House does not resolve those issues. So in order to restore liberty, you got to do it on the local level first. It has to happen there first. And that's where all grassroots movements begin. So how do you do that? Well, as we talked about, if you have a police chief who is allowing his officers to act unconstitutionally, who is conducting unconstitutional checkpoints, red light cameras, policing for profit in your community, then you have to change that. If you need to fire your mayor and recall your mayor, vote him out at the next election, then do it. And find a candidate who represents the people. And the way you do that is you've got to first form groups within your community, within your town or county or wherever you are. Form groups so that together you can orchestrate a plan for doing this. You can't just say, well, we all kind of feel the same thing, and then hopefully we'll all go out and vote the same way. It doesn't work that way. You've got to be central focused on singular issues. You have to be able to move those issues forward. You have to have a plan. You have to find candidates. I mean, it really takes a lot of work, but once you start to do that, you're going to find out, well, wait a minute, we just made our town much more free. We just made our, county much more free. We just made our state much more free, and eventually we can make our nation more free.
That's very good. That sounds like a really good blueprint. That's definitely something we're going to be looking into. The project that you had mentioned that's on your site there.
Well, I just want to say too that I appreciate what you guys are doing here. I mean, one of the things I love about coming to groups like this is you meet people who really their best alternative is to change things on the local level. You know, I'm a guy, I can go around, I can talk to you about all these ideas, but at the end of the day, I don't know who's running your towns. I don't know who is, you know, the politician that may be corrupt. I don't know the police chief who's unresponsive or the sheriff who's unresponsive. I don't know those things, but you do know those things. And so it's great to be able to meet people who find out that they actually have the keys to a lot of these problems right in front of them. They have the answers to them. So I appreciate what you guys are doing. You know, keep fighting that good fight and stay strong, stay honest in it, you know? So thank you.
That's great, guys. Ben Swann, thank you very much for coming to Illinois to this Freedom Festival. And you did a great talk. And I got to say, you're almost as good looking as me. I'm pretty surprised. So, all right, guys, thank you very much.